camera manufacturers managed to ship just over 1 million units in January of 2019, not 2023. In fact, in 2023, ship numbers of digital cameras are absolutely abysmal, at least in January. And February, well, it does show some promise. How much promise, and what does this mean for the camera market as a whole? Details coming up, but first, please do me a favor. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe, share, choose all notifications, like, comment, and all that good stuff. It's greatly appreciated, but most importantly, it really does help this channel grow. The Camera Imaging and Products Association, CIPA, predicts a slight decrease in camera sales for 2023. All this at the same time that the average camera price is increasing. CIPA shows that January 2023 is off to a terrible start, despite two new mid-level popular cameras being released in late 2022. Sony released the A7R5 in late October to great praise, and then Canon released the R6 Mark II a few days later in November. And despite the success of both of these two cameras, it's done nothing to lift the sales for January of 2023. The camera market, the digital camera market, is still considered an endangered species. And if we go back to January of 2022, we had some 200,000 more shipped units. And January 2021, some 300,000 units. And the year before that, in January of 2020, we had some 400,000 units more, almost double what we have today, some 804,000 units. But back to January of 2019, before the world went sideways, we had 1.001 million units shipped. The market is a far shadow of what it once used to be. And while the number of units shipped for February 2023 has improved by some 75,000 units, it's still a far shadow of what the market used to be back in, well, 2022, 2021, and we can keep going back much further in time. So let's do that. Let's go back to 2007. Back then, the market was only 8.26 million units, and that's only about 3 million units more than today. But then the market took off as digital cameras became affordable and provided clear advantages over film. This is also a time where social media also took off. We had YouTube starting out just a few years earlier, and the idea of posting images, photos, videos of your favorite meals, of your friends, of things you were doing, that really started to take off as well. And this demand drove sales to a peak of 20.16 million units in 2012. But then lightning struck, and it began back in 2007 when Apple unveiled the impossible iPhone. By 2012, smartphones had not only become popular, but the camera technology and software had improved to a point where, including computational capabilities, it forced the digital camera market into a steady decline. And then take a look at 2020. The market appears to have stabilized around 5 million units for digital cameras and just under 10 million units for lenses. But this stabilization occurred largely due to external factors, external market factors, starting in 2020 with, well, you know what happened there. It just became a cluster of everything that could possibly go wrong with the market. And here in 2023, we're still feeling the leftovers of that. But how do you think 2023 is going to end up? Do you think we're going to get some bold cameras in 2023 to help lift up these numbers, to bring them closer to what we saw in 2022? Do you believe that the numbers are being held down artificially due to, well, the ability of camera companies to be able to get their lenses and camera units available in stores so people can purchase them? I'm still hearing that Sony FX30s and other cameras are hard to come by. CIPA predicts total units shipped for 2023 at 5.72 million units. And Nikon Rumors, that covers this stuff quite a bit, they're predicting as low as 3.5 million units, and on the high side, 4.6 million units. And that's a far cry from what CIPA is predicting at 5.72 million units. And all these predictions, whether it's CIPA, Nikon Rumors, or you yourself, well, it's depending on what actually comes out to the market and whether the camera manufacturers can make enough of these units. Can Nikon, if they release the Z8, can they get enough of them to the market? And if they do, I definitely think we're going to see, well, north of 5 million units. And if Canon can release some additional cameras, if they can get out the R6 Mark II, which Canon's already published a statement saying they're having trouble getting enough to the market, same with the R7 and several other cameras and lenses. And then there's Sony. Sony's planning on releasing 2 new cameras this year, and we know that because they registered 3 cameras and they've only announced the ZV-E1. And of course, Panasonic. It's been 4 years since they released the S1, the S1R, and now the S1H. So if we get a lot of new cameras coming out this year, including availability of these new cameras from Nikon, Canon, Sony, and Panasonic, I think that 2023 can definitely be a good year. But well, trend numbers don't change things. The market has more or less stabilized around 5 million units, and I don't see the market going up to 10 million units like it did in its heyday. No, not unless something changes to the capabilities that these cameras offer, unless people see them as providing a benefit and improvement to what they can do with their smartphones, because after all, in their pocket, they've got a pretty good camera that can take very good stills and pretty decent video. We'll continue to follow SEPA numbers throughout the rest of 2023. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest sales figures or the latest camera news and rumors, then go ahead and subscribe, but make sure you choose all notifications. Just make sure that your email notifications from YouTube are not showing up in your spam and your junk mail folder. And for all the minor news and rumors, well, follow me on Twitter at this address here. I post pretty well, sometimes as much as 10 tweets a day. I talk about the latest lenses, the latest cameras, some interesting news articles, and if a camera is on sale, like $200 off on the Canon EOS R5. And as we get closer to Easter, it's Easter here in much of the Western Hemisphere. It starts on Friday and continues all the way to Monday. So what I suspect, as we get up to Friday, late Thursday, that's probably going to be it for camera news, but you never know. So make sure you subscribe, choose all notifications, and follow me on Twitter. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.